What's up, guys? Chris here to give my prediction for this weekend's Timothy Bradley Devon Alexander unification fight. Um, I was gonna say apologies for the video being late. It's not really late. I usually do my videos a week of the fights, just in case any fallouts or injuries or anything like that. But I plan on doing it sooner, but just never got around to it. Anyways, looking forward to the fight. I guess you would say it's the first big boxing match of the 2011 year. Even though, unfortunately, the big story, I guess, leading into it, aside from the fight itself, is the fact that the ticket sales are so low, reportedly at Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan, where the fight is taking place. That's unfortunate. Neither of these guys really wanted to budge and fight near the other's hometown, so kind of just have to take the good with the bad. They made a compromise of where to fight, so they can't really complain. I guess you should put the more so on the promoters. For holding the fight at that venue. I'm sure there's many other places they could have held it where they probably would have had better ticket sales, but they chose to go this route, and yeah, it is what it is. Fighters are going to get paid regardless, so that's what most important to them. As for the fight itself, looking forward to it. I know people want to see it sooner. People said they should hold off on it. I think now's pretty much a perfect time for it. Regardless of sales, I think fans are interested, particularly hardcore fans, myself included. WBC, WBO unification bout. Timothy Bradley undefeated still, 26-0, 11 KOs. Stands 5'6" with 6'9" reach. Coming off the unanimous decision win over Luis Carlos Abregu, where he moved up to welterweight. Not really sure what the point of moving up to welterweight was, but he did it. Oh, a solid performance, for what it was worth. Before that, he had a really good fight against Lamont Peterson, where he got an impressive victory. Devon Alexander, 21-0. 13 KOs, stands 5'7" with a 71-inch reach. Alexander's coming off the unanimous decision win over Andreas Kotelnik, a fight that quite a bit of fans actually thought he deserved to lose that decision. I actually thought he pulled it out slightly, but I could see a case being made for Kotelnik. Before that, of course, Alexander had probably his best win of his career thus far, the knockout stoppage of Juan Urango, a fighter that had shown a really solid beard up until that point, kind of a surprising knockout, but a great uppercut by Alexander. And, as for this fight, I think that is the biggest opportunity for Devon Alexander to win this fight. Not to say he can't outbox Timothy Bradley, but when I look at this fight, I think Bradley, the most vulnerable we've seen him is against Kendall Holt, where he got knocked down early, got his head freaking spinned back, but somehow was able to get up and survive and take over that fight. But he also got knocked down late in the fight. I believe it was the last round with the uppercut, I believe. So Alexander might look at that, and look at where he can attack Timothy Bradley's defensive deficiencies. However, the problem is Timothy Bradley is a very aggressive fighter. In your face, high work rate, good body puncher as well. Whether or not Alexander's going to be able to keep Bradley off of him and be able to, like I said, take advantage of his aggression, hard to say. Anything can happen in a fight. I favor Timothy Bradley going into this fight just because I've seen more of him. I've seen him accomplish more. I think he's done more. He's more of a proven commodity at this point. Not have a little more questions about Alexander after that Kotelnik fight. Had he been in there with Timothy Bradley that night, would he have lost the fight for sure? Possibly. Who's to say it would have played out the same? But he's just not coming off an impressive victory leading into what should be the biggest fight of his career up to this point. So it's easy to see why fans are doubting him going into this. The other thing I want to mention is I watched the HBO little stare down thing that they have, the sit down with Max Kellerman being the host or the mediator in it, and I think those are really contrived. They're okay, but they're really contrived with the music in the background. I could do without the music and stuff, But the one thing I did take from that is Devon Alexander, Timothy Bradley really seemed to have a lot of I don't want to say anger, but he looked really serious in that piece. Alexander looked a little bit more aloof, and it really, honestly, it looked like Timothy Bradley was kind of in his head. Alexander, when he was answering a lot of the questions, he wouldn't really look at Timothy Bradley in the eye. A lot of his answers were the same answers over and over. I don't know. He looked a little nervous. I think Timothy Bradley just looked a little bit more focused and mentally ready. And then maybe, he is a little bit older, not that old, but Alexander is only, 22, 23, I believe, still. He's still a younger fighter. So, not to say he's not ready for this stage yet, but we'll know come Saturday night. Anyways, that said, I think Timothy Bradley has this mental strength advantage. I think he's got the physically. I think he's a physically stronger guy, and I think stylistically, if he's able to apply his game plan, being the aggressive guy, working the body, don't see it really a knockout. And like I said, unless Alexander can catch Timothy with an uppercut like he did Urango, hurt him and finish him off there, I don't really see a stoppage. Neither of these guys has a lot of power. If you look at their records, neither guy has a lot of KOs on their resume. So I see it going the distance most likely, but definitely going to have to favor Timothy Bradley by decision. I just think he's going to control most of the fight, especially, like I said, after the way Devon looked against Kotelnik. I think Bradley is a better fighter than Kotelnik, so I think he'll look at that tape, look what was successful with Kotelnik, particularly late in that fight, and I think Bradley, he should be competitive early, but I think mid to late rounds, Bradley should be control of the fight, and particularly late rounds, I think he should be in full control because he has shown to have a really good stamina throughout a fight, particularly late though. Never really slows down, so I see that being the case here. So I'm going to go Timothy Bradley by decision, and if he gets a win, hopefully he'll get a fight, in Amir Khan next, or maybe a Marcos Maidana. I don't know. The junior welterweight division is seriously deep right now, so any of the top guys out there, but particularly Amir Khan, because he's also seen as one of the top 3 dogs at 140. So, anyways, I talked about this fight yesterday. We broke it down on Science Fights Radio Show. If you guys have missed it, you can check out the show, on demand. Link in the information part of the video, along with a link to my Twitter as usual. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just want to hear your guys' thoughts on the fight. Who you think's gonna win? Why? And where do you think this fight should have been held? You think they should have had it in St. Louis? Brothers should have compromised. You think they should have had it in Cali? Think maybe they should have just had a neutral site, but somewhere else, like Atlantic City. Not to say it would have sold better there, or any of a number of places. But what they could have done to make this fight more successful at the quote-unquote box office. Anyways, that's it for now. I will be talking about this fight, the results, on next Sunday Science Fights Radio Show, so be sure to check that out. You can always call in if you want, or send in emails or whatever, sciencefights@gmail.com. But till next time, guys, I'm out.